and welcome to another episode of Dallas Watch. Warren Johnson here, and today we're going to talk about schools. Schools are important because you pay literally half of your property taxes go towards schools, goes to the Dallas Independent School District. And again, said this 100 times, those of you that rent, you're not immune. All right, your rent. In there is the property taxes that you have to pay. If your landlord didn't have to pay those property taxes, your rent would probably be a lot less. As an example, the average average price or value of a house here in Dallas, let's just say, but it's not far from $300,000. Taxes on a $300,000 house are around $8,000. So on that house, $4,000 of that goes to the school district. You got to ask yourself, what are they doing with the money? Let me tell you why I'm talking about this. My wife, I'm going to throw a picture up there of her. She is a 1975 graduate of San Benito High School in San Benito, Texas. You can see her wearing that uniform there. She was the, what do you call it, the drum majorette. And if you knew my wife, Carmen, you'd know she's always a leader in something. And San Benito is a small little town in the Rio Grande Valley. It is just like a little slice of Mayberry, except with the Rio Grande in the background. But it is really your classic little American town, small American town. It's a great place, a lot of good folks down there. So anyway, she's a 75 graduate. 2015, we went down to her 40th reunion. And of course, part of a reunion down there is the homecoming game. So we went to the homecoming game. And I was really impressed by their football stadium, which is nothing huge. Again, this is a big school as far as school districts go or football teams go. This is a 6A school, which is the highest level of school of competition, because I guess they have the most students or whatever. And they were playing Brownsville High School, one of their longtime rivals. But the stadium it seemed fairly new, but it was just aluminum, nothing fancy, nice and clean. The field was grass. The field was in excellent condition. The area around it was an excellent. The place was filled with people. A lot of kids running around on the outside playing their own little, the kids playing football on their own out there. And then the actual players come on the field. They got nice, clean uniforms, at least right then. They get dirty near the end of the game, obviously. The type of play, it was a good football game. The kids knew their basics. They knew how to tackle. They knew how to run. They knew how to pass. They knew how to defend. I was pretty impressed. And notice that there were only 3 coaches on each side. 3 on the San Benito side, the San Benito Greyhounds, 3 on the Brownsville side. All right, so, a head coach, probably an offensive coach and a defensive coach. That seemed to do the trick, and they seemed to be able to teach those kids very well. And it ended up, I think it was a 21-14 score, so it was a well thought out game. Halftime, the band comes out. Obviously, big tall hats, similar to the uniform that you saw with my wife right there. The ornate uniforms, long sleeve coats. The students played very well in the band. It was a good score, good marching, good choreography. I mean, just very well done. Obviously, a lot of time and effort was spent on those kids. And San Benito, again, Dallas property, half the value of a house, or the value of a house, average $300,000. San Benito, probably half that. It's definitely a lower middle class area. So they're only getting half the property taxes that other kids, that the city of Dallas, what we're paying. Well, a couple of weeks later, when I come back, just so happened to go to, and I went to Sunset High School here for a year in Dallas, and went with a group of friends to a Dallas Sunset Adamson game. Adamson was one of their longtime rivalries as well, and Dallas, or Sunset and Adamson are the 2 oldest high schools in Oak Cliff, some of the oldest high schools in Dallas. So we went to one of their games, and the stadium was down in far south Dallas, southwest Dallas. And I remember driving up there, and it looked like it was designed by a Soviet architect. Lots of stark concrete, as boring and dull and oppressive as anything you'd see. Walk out to the field, or into the stadium itself. We see out there's fake grass, that AstroTurf, and it wasn't in that great a condition. I noticed on each side, instead of 3 coaches, they had about 15 coaches each. Now they pay teachers a lot more in the Dallas area than they do in places like San Benito. So you imagine the salary expense of 15 coaches each. Then the kids were going out to play football, and God loved the kids, their hearts. I'm sure they wanted to do the best they can, but obviously they were not well taught. They were not well instructed. I would say something like that is a danger to kids out there playing football. If you got 15 coaches out there, what are they doing? Why are they not instructing the kids? I have no idea. It just shocked me. Then, of course, and the level of play, God loved the kids, stunk. It was terrible. They didn't know how to tackle. They didn't know how to pass. They didn't know how to run. The score ended up being 60-0. I think Adamson won. And poor Sunset. They've won maybe 5 games in 10 years. I'm going to put another link up there. There's a thing, Texas football history or whatever. We'll put the link up there and show you. You can go back and you can research these scores and who's had their records and so on, what the records are. So the people that are coaching Sunset ought to be ashamed. It's just sad to see my school get that way. Halftime comes. The band comes out, obviously. And they're not wearing uniforms. They got khaki shorts and polo shirts. Unbelievable. I was asking around about this. I said, well, the kids, it's so hot and humid here in Dallas. Wait a minute. People drive from San Benito to Dallas to get away from the heat and humidity. You can't tell, the heat and humidity in the Rio Grande Valley is far worse in Dallas, and they're not keeling over from heat stroke. Same with the level of play. The kids, by far, most of the students that were playing on Brownsville and the San Benito team were also Hispanic, heavily Hispanic, because that's just right there by the border. And same with the kids at Sunset and Adamson, because a lot of Hispanics moved up here. And they tell me, well, the Sunset and Adamson, it's not in their culture. They're more soccer players and so on and so forth. I'm sorry, I don't buy that either, because those kids down there in San Benito are just heavily Hispanic as everybody else, are doing fine. I contend it's because those teachers down there care, those coaches care, the parents care, and they take care of them. Saw a lot of parents in the stand over there at the San Benito-Brownsville game. At the Dallas Sunset game, I saw a lot of kids without their parents. So I don't know what that tells you here, but I tell you what it does tell me is we're spending a lot of money and we're not getting our money's worth. It's another thing I'm going to tell you right now. You need every single Dallas Independent School District trustee needs to be voted out of office. They need to be ashamed of themselves for what they're doing to those kids and what they're doing to us. If they say it's all about the kids, I don't buy that one bit. I don't think they care one whit at all for the kids. They just care for their own political future. They like to get out in front of, like to be on committees, and they like to be on boards, and they like to be quoted in newspapers. I'm sorry, but I've really got a problem with them. When the elections come up for these school districts trustees, we're going to cover that. I'm probably going to say, I don't know what I'm going to say, but we're going to find out something about it. So anyway, so that's my take today on schools here in Dallas. We're paying far too much. We got to get rid of all the school district trustees. I want to thank you for tuning in, and we hope to see you again in another episode of Dallas Watched. Have a good day. I really appreciate you tuning in to watch the show. Please hit the like and share button and share it with your friends and family. If you'd like to give us some feedback, we'd love to hear from you. Just email us at dallaswatch2020@gmail.com. Also, please consider a tax-deductible donation. You can go to www.returnlee.org. And also, don't forget, tune in every Friday, 7:30 Dallas time. New episode comes out of Dallas Watch. See you then. So long.